So I guess you're just gonna be in the video today, Savannah? Is that what we're doing now? Hey guys, it's Mia. Welcome back to my channel. I told you guys I'll be back with another video, and in light of revamping my channel, I wanted one of my first new videos to be the Booktube Newbie tag and the Authortube Newbie tag. Being that I didn't really fully introduce myself when I had the channel before, so I kind of want to just like start from the beginning and just tell you a little bit about myself, about this channel, and the plans that I have for this channel. I also want to incorporate the Authortube part into this channel also, which I recently just discovered, and I'll get to that, you know, in the later part of this video. But without yik-yakking too much, I just want to go ahead and jump right into the video. I did write down the questions. So if you see me looking down, I'm just reading the questions. Why did you start this channel? Just to interact with other booktubers out there. Like, I always loved to read, but I never really had like friends or close friends who was as thrilled about reading as I was. So I really didn't have nobody to talk about books with, or to be excited and fangirl about new books that was coming out. So once I found out about the Booktube community, I was like, I just had to be a part of this, because it's the only way that I can express myself about books, and that is my love, that is my passion. I love to read, and I was just so excited to just connect with all you guys and watch all you guys' videos and just, you know, connect on that level. Question 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Okay, so I have this idea that I don't really see floating around Booktube too much, and I want to do like book skits. I used to be a film student, so I was making like little short, you know, films and little short little minute movies and stuff like that, and I really miss doing that. But I figure if I can incorporate some of like my favorite like scenes from like my favorite books, and kind of like act it out and just be goofy and get some actors to, you know, act out certain scenes and things like that, I think it would be really cool. Like I said, I'm not saying that it's not in Booktube. Like, I think I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 videos, people who've done like Harry Potter spoofs and things like that, but it's not something that you see like all the time. And if I can like incorporate that into the video, I think that would just be totally different. It will totally stand out, and it just gets me back into being in the film mode that I was a couple of years back in, when I was like making like short films and everything like that. And what better way than to incorporate my love of reading with my love of film and movies, and just kind of like combine it together. I really think that would be cool. So we're gonna see what we can do there. That's what are you most excited for about this new channel? Basically, like I said, just connecting with new people, and as always, just tuning in to see who reviewed what book and what they thought about it, and see if we had the same thoughts on it, and to just get into like conversations about it. Why do you love reading? Because the obvious answer, it takes you to another world. My schedule is so hectic right now. Like, the only thing that I want to do is sit down and read and be into another world where I'm not thinking about my own, I'm not worrying about anything else. I can just escape into this other world and pretend like I'm that other character, and go about doing whatever it is that they're doing in that story or series got you into reading. Okay, the initial book series that got me into reading was Sweet Valley High and The Babysitter's Club, way back way back when. I used to go to the library like probably every 2 weeks. My dad and my mom would take like a weekly thing where we'd like ride our bikes to the library, and I would check out like a stack of the like the Babysitter's Club and the Sweet Valley High books, and those was like my first like real like chapter books that I was really into. I felt like I kind of like graduated from, you know, like your Dr. Seuss's and your what was the little book that had like the gold spine? I can't remember. Was it Story Time something? I can't remember. But you know, you kind of graduate from that, and you get into like chapter books. And Sweet Valley High and Babysitter's Club was like my first one, so I felt like, oh, I'm an adult, I can read these kind of books now. And you know, there was like a series. It was like book 1, book 2, and it like just went on and on and on. And I would like check out like 2 or 3 at a time and read them. I was obsessed. Like anything that was like in that genre, you know, like the Nancy Drews and the Encyclopedia Browns and what's her name, the Judy Blume books, like all of those books, all of those in that genre, I devoured. I love, and that's when like my spark of reading really took flight. Next question: what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Just in general, just like how do you stay motivated to keep your channel going once it starts growing? And if it didn't grow to what it was now, would you still want to do it? Because I know when I first started my channel, even though I didn't grow, I just felt like it was like so much was going on and I didn't have time to read and film and review and put content together, plus deal with my family and my work and things like that. So for like the bigger booktubers, I would just like to ask, how do you balance it all out? And then like secondly, if it wasn't for once you become on like a higher level of booktube, you know, when you start like receiving books to review and endorsements and, you know, all that type of stuff, like how do you just keep it all balanced would be probably my #1 question I would want to ask. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel would be the hardest to overcome? Staying on task of putting videos out there. Like I said, like I had to etch out this little bit of time right now to film a video, and I should be asleep right now. I'm working 2 jobs. I should be asleep, but I just really wanted to push this video out. But who's to say I'll have the energy to do that next time? So I wanted to go ahead and hop on and do this now. But I think that would probably be my hardest thing is like, when did you start reading? Like I said, I've always read, like I said, going back from being a little kid, seeing my mom reading and me wanting to be like my mom, so I would always have like some type of book or magazine, call myself reading. I would have, but I didn't really start back like really reading again until like late high school, beginning of college. You know, I had like a lot of free time, so I was able to kind of like just sit and read. I was only like working part-time, and you know, I didn't have no kids at the time, so you know, there was like a lot of free time on my hands that I can just, like I said, just kick back with a good book and read, especially during college, like in between classes, you know, your spring breaks and things like that. I just was able to knock out books like back to back. So, but other than that, like I said, I just always love to read. Where do you read? Anywhere. I take a book with me, so I mean anywhere that I can sit down. I don't like reading standing up, but any place that I can sit down and it's kind of quiet, yeah, I can get some reading done. Nowadays I do most of my reading at night because that's when everything is at its most quiet. Kids are asleep, the hubby is in his room. I can just kind of just sit down, relax, and just read and don't have to worry about anything that's going on around me. So, and that's usually in the bathtub or on the couch in my living room. Okay, last question. What types of books you like to read? Right now I'm totally into YA and adult fantasy and sci-fi. Those are my absolute faves. I have been reading a lot of contemporary novels also, thanks to Booktube. Which usually I used to stay away from, but I've been reading a lot of those. But I mean, YA and new adult fantasy, urban fantasy, paranormal, those are definitely my faves. By far, hands down. Always have been, even before it was a craze. Okay, so that concludes the Booktube part of this video. So now I'm going to jump in and do the Authortube tags. And let's begin. How did you find out about Authortube? Through Booktube. A lot of booktubers are Authortubers also, or they have links to other pages that's affiliated with Authortube, which, just like Booktube, I did not know existed. I would do like a search for like how to plot out a novel or how to outline a novel, and it'll bring me to all of these videos, and I didn't even know it was labeled Authortube at the time. It would just bring up the videos until, I forget, somebody mentioned it was part of like the Authortube community, and then I realized it was like a whole, you know, subgenre of Booktube or a branch off of Booktube, I should say, or maybe it's vice versa, I don't know. But yeah, that's how I found out about it. What genres do you write in? Right now, the novel that I am working on is a new adult urban paranormal fantasy. I guess I would classify it as. Like I said, which is what I want to write. But it's funny because the main story ideas that comes to my mind that I to write about is always contemporary. It's like adult contemporary, and that's not what I want to write. But every time I brainstorm and I try to think about something, contemporary comes to mind, and I try to throw in aspects of fantasy or sci-fi into it. So I don't know if the universe is just trying to tell me something, like maybe I'm meant to be a contemporary author, or I'm just overthinking it. I don't know. But like I said, what I'm working on right now is urban fantasy, new adult urban fantasy. But a lot of the stuff that I actually do write is adult contemporary. So we got to play around with that and see what's that all about. What is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? And I like to write first person. I have been noticing that I've been paying more attention to what point of view books are written in, books that I like that I was written in, and a lot of them jump from first to third point of view. So I don't know, I haven't mastered that yet, but most of the time I do like to write in first person point of view. I think it makes you feel more connected to the story because, you know, it's like the actual character that's going through it and their feelings and what they're doing and everything like that. So if I had to choose, I would say first person. Are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? Right now I am definitely a plotter. I never used to outline my novels or stories or anything like that. I used to just have an idea, I would sit down and write it until it's done. But just this past year I have been plotting my novels, and it has been a tremendous help. Excuse me. It put everything into perspective, and it just helped the writing even flow a little bit better. So definitely a plotter right now. Are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? Okay, so I'm gonna take this question into two parts. I'm going to say yet to be published, but there was, back when I was like in like 10th grade, there was like this school-wide, or what do you call, like all the schools, like district-wide writing competition that we all was kind of forced to do. It was like part of like your final grade, and we all had to like write a poem or a short story. I forget about what it was about, but we all had to participate in it, like 10th grade. And I actually won for my school division, and I wrote a poem. And no, I don't remember what it was about, but I did write a poem, and it was published in this book that, like I said, it went out to all the schools, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. So my poem was published in there, and then I was the head writer of my senior yearbook. So I wrote, like, you know, the senior message, the senior goodbye letter. I wrote all the little quirky little tidbits in the yearbook. So if that counts as being published, then yeah, I am a published author, I guess. But I know in this sense, no, I'm yet to be published. I would love to be a published author, but at least not right now. But I do have those two things under my belt, so technically, I guess you could say it, I guess. We're gonna go with that. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Okay, next question. If not yet published, what is your dream publishing house or literary agent? Whoever the hell wants to sign me. I am not going to shove my nose up at anything. I mean, like, whoever is interested in me, who wants to take a chance on me and put my book out there, I am all for it. If I had to choose, I'm going to go with an obvious answer and say Scholastic, because, you know, a lot of people develop a love for reading as kids, as children, and Scholastic is, you know, one of the children's publishing houses. And as far back as I can remember, I believe, you know, like all those books I mentioned before was published by Scholastic, and, you know, those are the books that my kids read now. So, you know, they circle around the schools at least. So yeah, I would love to write a book for Scholastic one day. I don't have to do like a whole series. I have a whole career revolved around them, but I mean, why not? You know, why not empower the younger generation into what we are to become later in your future life. So yeah, if I had to choose, I'll probably choose Scholastic, only because, like I said, it holds something dear to me. What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Okay, what I would love to put out are vlogs. I would like to do some of those. Anything that shows, like I said, real writing, people, you know, up at their desk or at the coffee shop, whatever, writing, talking about writing struggles, talking about writer's block or how to overcome, you know, staying motivated to write and putting in that word count and pushing, you know, getting your novel out there, sending it to these publication houses, and you know, like just like the real steps to do it. I don't know how many people I've seen on Authortube that I've watched their journey from when they started their novel to now that they're like an actual published author, and I see their books on bookshelves and at the library, and I'm like, wow, like when I was watching this person, this book was just a concept in their mind, and now I'm sitting down to read it. So I would love to put that type of content out there to show other authors that you can do it. You know, like it's an idea in your head, but it grows from there, and there will one day be a day where somebody is sitting down reading your book, or somebody is sitting there watching your videos and being like, I want to be like her, I want to be like Mia. She started this channel, now she has a book series out in the bookstores, in the libraries, and ebooks and stuff like that. So I just want my channel to be real. I don't want it to be all glitz and glamour and, oh, I'm an author and I write and I love to write and that's my passion. It's like, no, writing is hard, and I want to show that, just as all those other Authortube and Booktubers inspired me to want to do this, I want to be an inspiration to somebody else, and I can't put it no plainer than that. Let's see, I think I still have a few more questions. Okay, when did you start writing? Probably back in 8th grade. I can remember our teacher was absent, so we had a substitute, and everybody else is, you know, talking and whatnot. I'm sitting in a corner. I pull out my notebook and I started writing some poetry. And I know I wrote poetry for like about a year. For like that whole year, I wrote nothing but poetry. And then I don't really remember writing too much after that, but then I didn't get back seriously into it again until I went to college, because I was a serious loner and I just hated everything and everyone around me. So I did a lot of writing then too. I had like stacks of notebooks, and I did a lot of writing then. So it's probably like in between those two times, like high school and college, the span of my, but I did write as a kid, because I can remember my mom saying, you're going to be a writer. She always wanted to read what I wrote. So I guess that all kind of plays in together, but definitely college. I know that for sure. I did a lot of writing in college. What was this first story you ever wrote? I wrote this short story about a mother who loses her baby. She has she gets into an altercation with her father because she was like pregnant young, and they get into like a fight, and he accidentally pushes her and she falls and she winds up losing the baby, and she like kind of resented her father for it. That was like the first like short story that I actually wrote from beginning to end, that I let people actually read and get their reactions off of from. What authors have inspired your writing the most? Definitely, first and foremost would be Kelly Armstrong. She's a Canadian author. She wrote a lot of series. She wrote the Bitten series, which is actually on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, watch it. She also wrote the Rising, I think it was the Rising series. She wrote a lot of stuff. Look her up. She is awesome. She writes new adult, paranormal, urban fantasy. I can't remember what her most recent thing was, but she's awesome. I love her writing. She's up there with what's her name? I gotta look back behind because I can't remember her name. What's her name? Oh yeah, Rochelle Mead. Another one of my favorites. She writes in the same genre. She's the one who wrote the Vampire, is it Vampire Diaries? I'm sorry, I haven't read it in a long time. I don't think it's Vampire Diaries. I think it is Vampire Diaries. And the... Yes, and the Bloodline series. She wrote Bloodlines too, which is one of my favorite. Like I said, she's in the same category as Kelly Armstrong. It really inspired me to read. Once I read Kelly Armstrong's Bitten series, The Otherworld, that's what it is, The Otherworld series, I was freaking hooked, and I was like, this is what I want to write. This is it right here. And like, I've read everything. I devoured everything she wrote. So yeah, she is definitely my all-time favorite author. I love her. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you find the time? Right now, whenever I have the time. Usually at night, if I'm not reading, I try to write bedroom. But other than that, most of my writing time is at night when the house is at the most quiet, and I can get most of it done that way. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, or do you write everything out by hand, or do you use a blend of each? And where do you write in general? Well, I just answered that question, but I have no computer right now, so I'm writing everything out by hand, which I hate. Or type on a computer, get it done the first time and just print it out and make corrections that way, versus handwriting it and then have to transfer it to a computer anyway. So yeah, once I get my new computer, hopefully this Christmas, hint hint, I will strictly be on computer. Woo, we're on the last question. This is a long tag. Wow. Okay. What are you most looking forward to now that you are a part of Authortube? Everything in general, like I said, just meeting new people, putting the videos out there, connecting with other writers, booktubers, reviewers, people who love reading, people who love both reading and writing, who don't even necessarily want to have their channel of their own, but who wants to communicate with other readers and writers like themselves. That is the basis of this channel. That is the basis of this revamp of this channel. So guys, I am excited. I am super excited to get this going, to put out the next video. Thank you guys for watching, because I'm about to wrap this up because I am like sick of talking. All right, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.